Well, top of the evening to you, everybody. Happy St. Patrick's Day and welcome to Let's Talk. My name is Jennifer Brown. Yes, decked out in lots of green to celebrate this lucky day. Although this time together isn't just about luck. Congratulations on being intentional with creating health and well-being. I'm your host this evening, and I'm going to be doing an introduction of our main speaker here in just a few minutes. But first, I would love to invite you, if you are watching this live, to take a moment and share with us in the chat whether you're feeling lucky or some may call it blessed. Share with us one way that you feel as if your life has been upgraded thanks to Optavia. Our topic this evening is how to upgrade anything. Whether you want to upgrade your health, maybe you're wanting to upgrade your finances, and maybe you want to upgrade your friendships or relationships, or maybe it's upgrading something specific with our Optavia program. Maybe you want to upgrade how you do your lean and green, or upgrading the quality of your sleep, or how you work out. We're going to be learning this evening how to upgrade anything. And with that, I'm going to introduce to you our main speaker, a dear friend of mine. His name is Dave Blanchard, and he's going to be with us this evening and really sharing, whoops, here we go. Sorry about that. Trying to get to a full screen. There we go. Dave Blanchard is a dear, dear friend of mine, and he is the founder and the president of Augmandino Companies. He's a best-selling author of 3 books. I have read them all. They are fantastic. And he's the co-creator of Habitfinder and Habitfinder Health Assessment, which uses a Nobel Prize-nominated formal mathematics science to measure with laser accuracy a person's habit of thinking, which is the headwaters of real and lasting self-improvement and upgrading your life. And what's beautiful is that for anyone who is a client of Optavia, you get to participate not only in the assessment, but a debrief and coaching for free. Dave is going to be sharing more about this momentarily, but after losing 84 pounds, check out these pictures. He lost this weight while working closely with leaders in Optavia as their executive coach. And Dave made the decision in early 2024 to become an Optavia coach. One of his greatest joys comes from being married for 50 years to his sweetheart, Ramona. She's a dear friend of mine. They just celebrated their 50th anniversary just a couple of weeks ago, but together they have 7 amazing children and 27 grandchildren. So Dave, I want to welcome you to the webinar, and we are just so excited this evening to better understand, as you put it, our habits of thinking and how it can serve us or sabotage us. So share with us this evening, how can we upgrade anything in our life?
Oh, Jennifer, thank you. I've known you for over a decade, and you're always this way, which is really exciting. Thank you for your energy tonight to kick this off. We sure love you. It is St. Patrick's Day. And I was thinking earlier about the fact that in St. Patrick's Day, we use the symbol of the 4-leaf clover. That's the lucky clover. It's easy to find one with 3 leaves, but sometimes hard to find one with 4 leaves. And Optavia is really a 4-leaf clover. Just very quickly, think about this. Leaf number 1, the fuelings. Ah, nutritionally dense, vitamin dense, medically developed, highest ingredients, and they are consistently always 100 calories, balanced proteins, healthy fats, carbs, put into a package, not packaged food, but put into a package to be shipped to you, and then for you to be able to take anywhere you go. I have the privilege of traveling the world, having a great time. It is always fun to take these fuelings with us on a trip. So that's number 1. Number 2 is coaching. And no matter how long your coach has been coaching, they have access to the answers to all the questions that you might ask. and there to love and serve you and walk by your side. Number three is community, and we're in Community Unite. There are hundreds. I think we should have an account here pretty soon. Several hundred people on this call tonight. We're all gathered together to take this on. And lastly, the fourth leaf that just makes this really lucky is mindset. And we look about mindset, we have to start with Dr. A's habits of health and the six macro habits. Just be with me on these. Just listen. Healthy weight, healthy eating and hydration, healthy motion, healthy sleep, healthy environment. Think about that, our surroundings. Ramona and I, every once in a while, when we've got friends here staying with us, like groups come in, coaches, etc., we have to go through after and kind of clean out anything we don't want to be tempted with. And we thought, should we give this away? And we thought, why would we give this away? Because it's unhealthy. Let's just throw it away. So we just throw it away. So clean up your surroundings. And lastly, healthy mindset. Jennifer, we've got a quote from Dr. Anderson, if you could put that up. Taking full responsibility for yourself is the one thing that you must do that no one else can do for you. You must own what you eat, how you move, how you sleep, and how you handle stress by integrating your mind. Habits of Health, 26 elements. We quoted something from him right there from the 13th element. Isn't that awesome? We spend time in those elements and we begin to shift the way we are thinking and our habits of health. Now, we've taken it one more step. For 25 years, and Jennifer mentioned this, a Nobel Prize nominated math. I remember finding this at the University of Tennessee. Very complex. Cantor's transfinite calculus is the formal mathematical science. You don't need to remember any of that. But I fell in love with it because using it, we found a way to measure how we think. Why is that important? Because as our thoughts develop inside our brain, they're bouncing off at trauma triggers and stress responses. Some of those from our life, and many of them epigenetic trauma responses. That means they were passed down from previous generations. When that thought finally comes out, the latest research tells us we're unaware of 90%. Wow, it would be nice if we're 60. 90%. Yet they can crash down on us like a tsunami. And that is why at 7 o'clock in the morning, we're making all those promises to ourselves to eat healthy and drink our water and exercise. And then 8 o'clock, we're sitting there with our favorite Netflix show with a spoon in our hand and an ice cream headache and an empty bowl of Ben and Jerry's Chunky Monkey. And we're beating ourselves up. Or we're at the grocery store. You ever had this moment? In the grocery store we go to, they say stay on the outside edges. That's where all the fresh fruits are and vegetables. Well, one side of our grocery store, the outside is bread, fresh bread, and a cooler, a freezer with ice cream. Anybody go, oh, ice cream? Anybody have that moment? You ever have that moment where you're driving by and you don't even remember? You just somehow there's ice cream in your cart. Where did that come from? We can be so unconscious in these moments. And our mission with Habitfinder Health, which is a new version of Habitfinder, we spent 25 years and about $3 million perfecting this mathematical science. July 2023, I woke up one morning and said, I think we need to create a version of this to measure our habits of thinking as they relate to health and wellness. That was quite an undertaking. We finished it about April of 2024. It's been about 11 months. 7,000 people have now taken it. And we've been able to debrief those results and help them get into classes and start taking on those habits of thinking. Incredibly important because without measurement, we find ourselves in natural resistance. That's how the ice cream got into the cart. That's how we at the birthday party eat the cake and then beat ourselves up for it later. We want to raise awareness of these habits of thinking. We don't create them, we reveal them so you can finally hear them and do as Dr. Anderson says, stop, challenge that habit of thinking, and choose to think differently and take back control of your life. Do you have a little quote from Og Mandino, the greatest salesman in the world? This is so powerful. He says, good habits are the key to all success. Bad habits are the unlocked door to failure. Just imagine two doors I can walk through. One requires a key, good habits. The other one I can just walk through effortlessly. And how often in our health and wellness do we walk through the effortless door that's contributing to our weight, our, our blood sugar, our blood pressure? Can you feel it? We just walk through that one. We're going to want to hear those habits of thinking in this moment so that we can practice one of the greatest gifts a human is given, the ability to stop and reflect on our own thinking and to make new choices, because it all boils down to this. When we hear these thoughts and choose to think differently, because in the assessment, you know how your habits are currently thinking. You'll also know the best way to think. You do that enough times, and your brain will create a new neural pathway. And the neuroscientists tell us the brain then prunes off the bad habit. Put up that next slide for me, if you would, that next quote. How often do we find ourselves in this trap? This is a deadly trap. I have surrendered my free will. That's my ability to step back and reflect on my own thinking. I have surrendered my free will to these years of accumulated habits. Just look at those habits out in front of you, especially the unhealthy ones. And the past deeds of my life have already marked out a path which threatens to imprison my future. What is your weight tonight? What is your blood pressure tonight? What is your blood sugar, your A1C tonight? Have we been walking through that open door of failure? Our invitation to everyone here tonight, and it is an invitation to take this assessment, measure what's creating that resistance, what's causing the food noise that makes us want to eat the food to anesthetize it, and what habits of thinking are beating us up, calling into question our worth and worthiness, our ability, our character, the value of our ideas, the value of our contribution, past mistakes that we've made. The real enemy. Now, I have a guest with me tonight, someone that I just love dearly, April Pitcairn. April took this so seriously when the assessment first came out. I just got emotional, April. I wasn't expecting that. April has been attending almost every single one, I think every debrief we hold on Tuesday night. Then we have two classes on Thursday. A new one starts every 2 weeks. They last for 4 weeks. There've been over 80 of them. She's been to them. And if she was on a trip to Europe, she watched the recordings. And it's been amazing to watch the impact. April, could you share with us what it's like to actually take on your habits of thinking and take back control of your life.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you so much. I was actually in Australia and it was just difficult to, to get on. But going through the coaching sessions while looking at my personal assessment allowed me to see the specific areas I needed to work on to see where my resistance was and then work through it. So as a result, I lost the 30 pounds I put back on after I'd broken my wrist last year.
Mhm.
And I didn't do it after just one session. So the beauty of this whole thing is that we can take it over and over again, which I did until it finally clicked. The other advantage of taking it over and over is that different people ask questions each and every session because you make it very interactive. If people would like to come off and ask you a question, and by listening to the answers that you give to them, I learn something new each and every time. And then the one other thing that I'd like to just add in there is that even though Habitfinder Health is geared towards health,
Mhm.
it has helped me in every single area of my life. So that's where the upgrading to level up really has come in for me. And I just can't thank you enough for that. And that's why I will continue to get on them because, we're never where we want to end up. We want to continue to optimize in every area of our life. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Now, we didn't talk about this. Can you think of one area in your life that's been impacted the most?
Well, besides my health, I would just say my attitude.
Mm.
It's my attitude. And so attitude can be many things. It can be is related to my business. It can be related to, a ton of things. I will be 71 in April. And just having people around me going through different situations. I have a lot of people that are caretakers of their parents or of their spouses or sometimes children. And in dealing with that, honestly, listening to the coaching sessions has helped me help them.
Thank you. That's my favorite part. We want to share principles and practices and processes, but we also want to hear from you and how a person is dealing with these things. And we try to set apart as much time each session for people to ask questions and for us to process. And that's my favorite thing. For 25 years, I've debriefed 10,000 assessments, 15,000 hours doing assessment debriefs. Crazy, I know. Um, and about 5,000 clients. I've seen so many life situations. It's just wonderful. The question prompts something I haven't thought about for 10 years, but I remember it vividly and can share it with someone. What a great opportunity for us to gather. And I love the fact that you use the word upgrade. Upgrade. If I said to you a couple of words, just respond to this. There's a measurement that when it's balanced, we do things because we want to, get to, choose to. It's very powerful. But about 80 to 85% of the assessments are buried in have to, need to, should. Can you feel it? Must. A sense of deep obligation. Is that what you were describing when you said, I'm changing my attitude to want to, get to, choose to?
Yes. And I would say that, listening each and every week and listening to how you help others, it helps reframe whatever it is that I'm thinking. So it's just so powerful to have a tool to help put more of a positive spin on things. And to me, that's what that does. So I want to, I get to, I choose to instead of I need to. All of that has totally changed the way that I've looked at things. The other thing is that you give us very specific tools. and you give us action steps. And so that was something that I wasn't doing at the beginning. When I was first listening to the coaching sessions,
Mhm.
I wasn't really taking advantage of what you're offering us. And when I really dug in and said, okay, I'm good, I have control of my life. I have control over nothing else, but I
Yep.
have control over me. And so what can I do? And by taking the tools that you provide us in each session with the workbook that you give us, with all kinds of things, that has helped me move forward.
Thank you. When we talk about upgrading your life, to me, the greatest upgrade a person can make is just conscious awareness. I call it going through life with your eyes wide open. Share with us a little bit about the shift in stepping into the world, knowing a little bit more, actually hearing a habit of thinking, and being a choice to shift it. What is that doing in terms of upgrade for you?
Well, okay, so it I'm going to use my age again. So, I have always looked at I don't look at age as any big deal. I really don't. However, when I look at some other people and I look at other people and they talk to me about, well, I'm 60, so this is just the way things are going to be from now on. For me, no, it doesn't have to be any way. It can be whatever you want it to be. So if you want to upgrade, a passion of mine is traveling. I love to travel.
Mm.
There should be no limitation on that for me, in my opinion. So listening constantly to the things that you bring up and the stories that you bring up, the vast knowledge that you have of dealing with people, it's really helped me to reframe that there is no limitation. So the fact that there's no limitation just opens your world up. And that helped me with losing the weight that I had gained back from breaking my wrist too. It just made me really look at why was I knew what to do, because 10 years ago I lost 40 pounds on this program in 4 months.
Hmm.
Results not typical. And I kept that weight off for the majority of the time. But I'm a human, and I got into a thing when I broke my wrist where I started gaining the weight back. Well, listening to Habitfinder Health and taking the assessment really helped me look at my why. It really made me go down the path to say, why do I want to be healthy? Why do I want to get this weight off? And by examining and using the tools that you provide, it gave me the solution I needed, and I was able to do it.
Thank you. Let's make sure we leave this message tonight, April, and that is nobody's broken. The whole assessment, the premise, is that there is a habit of thinking that is your true self. When you're conscious, awake, and alert, this is how you want to think and respond. That's sitting in what we call the observer's chair of your life. You also have habits of thinking. And sometimes we do. We surrender our free will. It's like we get up out of this chair and walk over and sit in that chair over there. And we surrender our free will to it, and it runs our life. And one of the most powerful ones, and it's one of the first ones we take on in the coaching, is that habit that doesn't want to be controlled by anyone, even you. That's why we can make all these promises to ourselves, and something talks us out of our own promises. How is that possible? Well, that's a really powerful and often painful habit of thinking. And when we can step back and thank it, because that particular one probably blessed us somewhere along the way, protected us, thank it, and then take back control of our life. The joy that is there when you're living in your true, authentic self, being real, genuine, authentic, without the need to impress or pretend or feel ashamed or fear. It is the most difficult task in our mortal existence and the highest level of maturity. That's Habit Finder Health. helping you to get into the observer's chair, the driver's seat of your life sooner and stay here longer. April, I love you to death. Thanks for being here. And for anybody who's here who hasn't taken the Habitfinder Health, talk to your coach, the one who invited you here tonight. They have a link or have access to a private link to give to you so that when you take it, they'll know that you have. When you sign up for the debrief, they'll know that you have so they can support you. When you become a client with Optavia, you're eligible to go to the coaching for free, and they'll know that you've signed up for that so they can go with you and support you. It's a beautiful role for a coach to be able to walk through this process with you as you're taking on your habits of thinking. So talk to your coach about this, and let's have some fun, everyone. April, if everyone, that moment you had when that switch flipped and you just said, it's time to take this seriously. What a gift to give yourself. Thank you. Thank you. Jen, back to you, my friend.
Well, friends, that's the key. You can look at it as luck. You can look at it as simply needing some tools and some skills to really upgrade anything in your life. How wonderful that we have a community. And as you said, Dave, kind of like a four-leaf clover. We've got nutrition, but it's not just about opening a package every few hours. The science works. But if we don't take on these habits of thinking and address that 6 inches between our ears, most of us will probably feel stuck and feel like we don't have that ability to upgrade anything in our life. But when you add the other clovers, it is luck that you don't want to miss out on, because we take personal responsibility and ownership, just as Dr. Anderson recommended. And when we do participate in such a beautiful gift, such as Habitfinder Health, wow, that is the key in how to upgrade anything in your life. And of course, we have Dr. Anderson and the Life Book. It is filled with elements that allow us to, again, continue to learn about our habits of health. And guess what? Next week's topic is all about bringing your life book to life. There's a lot of great information in that life book, but guess what? If we don't ever open it and it sits on a shelf, it can never help us upgrade our life. So you're not going to want to miss next week's Let's Talk. And of course, you can catch all of these talks that we are doing on podcast. They are all available to you. And so with that, everybody, we want to wish you a happy and wonderful St. Patrick's Day. I have a little quote for you. This might sound familiar. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall soft upon your fields. That's our Irish blessing for you tonight. Thanks for being here. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, April. And we'll see all of you next week on Let's Talk.